I joined my co-workers they'd gone for some drinks after work. So I decided to go along, just to see how they're like after work. It's not the sort of thing that I normally like to do and enjoy because it's not my sort of thing, but I thought I'd give it a try since I work with them. I'll try to build a better rapport and learn about each other. It was awkward and sometimes, it was uncomfortable. I smiled, I nodded, sometimes laughed at inappropriate things, just to be part of the group, I guess. Yeah, I realized later on that I just wanted to fit in. I think that's the difficult part, trying to make myself fit in. I noticed that there are differences between us, and I don't mean in terms of we're all unique in our own way. Differences is in not being able to, not quite fitting in. Really didn't know what to say. I listened. I don't quite remember what they were saying, but they were talking about things in their lives and things of that nature. So it's not something. Most of the stuff they talk about, I can't quite connect with. But then again, connecting to people in general has not been an easy thing for me. I know I mentioned before to be constantly exposed to similar situations, I might get used to it. Sometimes I think that works to a certain extent. Sometimes I don't think it works that well because of the way that I am, my personality. So it's yeah, part of it was okay. Now part of it was, it just seems to highlight that I don't quite relate to them. Later on, it got louder with more people in the bar. It's a type of environment that I don't really like to be in. It was getting crowded with a lot of certain macho behavior as well, and loud individuals. But that's just the way it is for that sort of place. And sometimes I worry that I talk a bit too much about the things that are that I don't like revealing about myself to others. I just feel as if they'll either make fun of me or somehow use it against me. It's not something that I enjoy. It's not something that I like thinking about because it just keeps on going around in circle aimlessly. Strangely, during the time I'm with them, I did feel like I'm sort of being involved or part of the group in that moment. That's one of the things I'm trying to work at, to be able to live in the moment. I have this problem of thinking ahead at times. I've still got problems where after going through something, I think about it in intense ways that can be draining. Sometimes being in a moment, it doesn't quite work, as I said, with the noise and things like that. It takes me out of it, or saying things that just sort of makes me feel uncomfortable, or talking about stuff that I can't connect with. It just takes me out of that moment, and it makes me realize that I'm not really part of that group. There are things that they say that I disagree with, but then again, we don't have to agree with everything, whatever everyone's saying. So yeah, I think it's more about not being able to relate to people, to those specific people. And I started thinking, what is it? What do we do in order to fit in? how much of us, how do we lose a part of ourselves in order to fit in order to be, in order to participate? And I started to think, what is this part of change? In some, I think we all change despite what we want. I think that's just part of life. We change either unconsciously or consciously. I'm being very generalistic here. But to try to be someone else, to conform in order to fit in, like putting on a mask. I mean, I suppose another way of saying it is just pretending to be someone you're not. I don't really think that's a good thing. It's hard to say the actual, where actual change comes in. I suppose if you really want to pretend, that's a route you can go down. It's very similar to the phrases where people say "fake it till you make it." I don't really like that sort of idea, to force yourself into something in order to be accepted. I mean, what would you do to fit in? To be accepted, would you lose part of yourself in order to be part of some group, or to be part with, to be together with someone else? It's difficult to say. It just feels not just fake when you try to force yourself or pretend to be someone else. It really feels like you're going against yourself. There's a part of me that just wants to stop it and just backs away. Sometimes I can't tell if that's fear or genuine sense of losing oneself, if that makes sense. I guess some people would, as I said before, would do anything to be accepted. If one is desperate enough, or in extreme cases, some people just want to be liked by other people, so they do whatever it takes to meet those requirements. Anyway, just some things to think about, or not.